a lot
I don't know
of.
why.
Well, I don't either, but I guess there's just nothing else on, and I'm trying to catch up, and I'm trying to figure out what's going on and stuff.
I got you. So what all you been watching?
ROH, Impact. I even broke down and saw some of Raw. Um,
Did you catch
I
any
don't.
NXT? Did you see any Trevor and
I
LA
did
Knight?
see. I saw most of that. Yeah, and I was listening to Jim's review of it, and I agreed with a lot of it.
Yeah, I meant to go back and listen to that since I saw that tweeting going on and shit about the dude that jumped into the ring or
Yeah,
attempted to jump into the ring.
I think he got his ass kicked. I hope.
It didn't show, but I saw the whole Jim Cornette thing with
Well,
him and
the guy like he tweeted Brian last and he goes, "Hey, how'd you like my debut? How'd you look?" And he was like, "You're a fucking idiot. Just go fuck
yeah, I
off.
saw. Yeah, he's like, you're blocked.
If you think for any reason that I love you because of this, go fuck yourself."
I mean, yeah. Well, where do they get that shit?
I don't know. I'm part of the show now.
Yeah, you're part of the show, all right, stupid fuck.
It's ridiculous. It's preposterous.
It is preposterous.
All right, I'm all shared. Are you shared? You should be shared.
No, I got my.
Share things with people. Sharing is caring.
All right.
I'm going to say something that's fairly controversial. I don't know if
No, you're
agree.
not. No, you're not. Get the hell out of here.
I know at the risk of risking my
ruining your reputation,
my well-built credibility over
yes.
years. Yeah.
Yes.
I think at least this week's show, I think Impact and Raw were not that far apart in terms of quality. I have to say, I think they were almost as watchable. And they almost had as much shitty. Now it's not a clean comparison because one's a 3-hour show and one's a 2-hour show. I was trying to watch the 90-minute Hulu version of Raw, but I think those two shows are pretty close. I gotta be completely honest with you. And it's not because like, wow, they've become so good. No, it's because they both suck so badly.
Well, yeah. Yeah. I would, because I watched both of them too, and I'm sitting here thinking, I just couldn't sit through a lot of that Raw. I mean, still that 3-hour thing, like you said, it's still a thing, dude.
Those first couple of segments on Raw were brutal when they had everybody in the ring trying to like strut for the. Oh, it was so bad. It was so. They all came in. They did all their shit, and they were like, "Oh, I deserve. No, I deserve. No, I'm the best. No, and that shit was. It was so scripted. And then the second segment, I think they had Nia Jax delivering her lines.
Like, was she the same? Okay, I trust you. I don't remember.
Well, at least on the Hulu when she was, and her lines were like it was very much like watching the porn actress in the interstitials before they get naked. And it was like, she's that quality of actress. I mean, the writers have completely and totally dominated that show. I mean, there's no, like, the performers themselves are doing nothing. Who do you think the people who are over on Raw are right now?
Let me make sure I got everybody straight that I know that's on Raw.
Okay.
For one thing, I'm still a little sketchy on things. I know that whole split took place, months ago, but god dang.
So like the people who are over on Raw, Drew for sure.
But Lashley. You know what, man? I've been seeing a lot of stuff online, and I know you just got to take stuff with a grain of salt. But people were talking about that Money in the Bank match with him and the rest of them coming up.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people in that comment section that says anybody but Drew, anybody but Drew, anybody but Drew. I'm like,
Oh Jesus,
that's odd.
That's sad. It's like they have like no baby faces at all. It's like he's like their number one baby face right now, right? Wouldn't he be?
But I would think so. But I think too that I think a lot of people are just getting turned off by him because he's there all the time. It's kind of like almost the Roman Reigns thing of a few years ago.
So of course, that means 5 years from now they'll do what we want to do, turn him heel, and he'll go over. That's what's going to happen.
Of course,
and they'll do what we're saying. So I think Drew is over. I'm going to say Lashley's over. New Day's still
We'll see
over.
if he's over. We'll see if he's over coming up when they have the live audience.
That's true too. New Day's definitely over. And AJ.
Is AJ? Who'd you say?
Yeah, AJ. I say AJ.
AJ. I say the same thing. Okay.
I think that's it. I don't think.
I'm thinking, man. I don't
think Miz and Morrison are over. I don't. The Riddle.
What
thing,
Lashley? You don't think any MVP?
I think Lashley's over.
I think Lashley's over.
I
think it took a lot to get him over, but I think he's over.
As far as the women, it's just Charlotte. I don't see anybody else on that show that's over as far as the women go. I mean, probably Rhea, maybe Rhea, but they.
I think Rhea, yeah.
But it's like that thing they're doing with Nikki Cross with the superhero thing. That's death on a stick, and then that Dewdrop person who I'm getting to know. I just feel. Don't you feel like that's their way of making fun of a fat girl? Isn't that essentially what that character is?
Dude, yes.
I mean,
yes. I mean, it's not that hard to see through.
We believe in diversity. We're such a woke company. But there's a fat chick. Fat girl. She's so fat. I mean, that's all they do with her, right?
And she's good. It's her Piper. Damn, what's her last name?
I don't know.
But she was in the Mae Young tournament. I remember her being.
Well,
she's from Great Britain. Piper Niven, I think. Niven.
Piper Niven, yeah, Piper Niven. And then I also think any momentum they had from those vignettes coming in with Eva Marie, I think that's death, right?
Oh, that's sputtered. It's sputtered like the damn ring on AEW, man.
I mean, it's kind of cute when they do the thing when she's in it, like with the others, and they like her ring announcer gets in there and goes, "Oh, she won! The winner of the match, Eva." And it's like, well, there's other people on the team. I thought that was kind of funny, but it's not. It doesn't work. It doesn't
seems
get
to be
her
going
over.
nowhere. I can tell you that. It seems to be going. It's spinning some wheels already, but that's just me.
If the company,
and you know what, dude, I kind of like her. I kind of like Eva Marie, and I wish it wouldn't like that, but I know the deal with her. So
it's like I don't. If this company was still dependent on people paying $49.95 for a pay-per-view, holy shit.
Right.
There's just no way. I mean, my God, you thought the TNA numbers back in the day, back when they were doing the weeklies, were bad. Holy shit. If you were asking me to pay $49.95 for a potential Money in the Bank match, or let's just say it was a main event of their Lashley against Drew McIntyre. Really? And then what's the rest of the card look like? AJ Styles against Riddle?
Are you talking about Hell in a Cell? Or are you talking?
If they were putting a card together for next Sunday and they wanted you to pay $50 for it,
gotcha.
And they go,
yeah,
these are our guys. It's the top match.
You're just talking about a regular, not a specialty kind of, not a Hell in a Cell or anything like that. Okay,
this is what I want you to pay $50 for. I want you to pay $50 for Lashley against McIntyre, and then the number 2 match on that card is going to be AJ Styles against Lashley, or AJ Styles against Riddle. Those are my top 2 matches. And you're like, no, no, I'm not doing that.
But, actually, the AJ Riddle match would have been good. I'm not saying AJ's lost, but he has lost a little. Let's not kid ourselves here. He's gotten older like the rest of us,
right.
But he can still throw down. Don't get me wrong.
No, he's still there, and he's still one of the best workers ever. His promos are okay, and they're probably better than average.
Right.
Despite that ridiculous Southern accent, McMahon.
Oh yeah, that ridiculous Southern accent.
Oh.
Makes people sound like idiots.
Oh, it's so bad.
Anyway, yeah. So I think that match would have been great maybe 10 years ago. If Riddle was the same age and AJ was 10 years younger, maybe.
And then who do you have the New Day fighting? I don't know who the New Day would even be fighting. I'm not sure.
Who are they having beef with right now? Oh, that's right. Kofi's having beef with.
Is it MVP and
Lashley.
Is it like MVP and one of MVP's guys? Isn't that who they're fighting?
I
with
think
right
it's just
now?
him and Lashley now, right?
Yeah, but I think isn't there somebody else in that faction? Because Lashley has to square off against somebody else. See, this is just the dumbest shit. This is what's going on. And of course, you don't even want to go near the Alexa Bliss shit, which is just a steaming pile of shit. That's just death.
I mean, it was dumb when it was creepy. I hated it, like with the whole what's her name? God dang. I want to say Sonya, but there's so many names flying around in my head. But my girl, god dang, the MMA fighter, former MMA fighter with Nia, Shayna Baszler.
Shayna Baszler. Yeah,
Jesus Christ.
They've really they've minimized her so much you can't.
Oh my god. Name. Well, see, I thought it was kind of creepy with all that stuff when all that stuff was going on with her, but now they've kind of made her almost made Alexa back into like a baby face in a way.
Oh no.
I mean, she's tagging with Nikki and doing that little move on Nia and the dude that hangs out with them.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Reggie.
Yeah, Reginald.
And then they
kicks Nia and then back
for no reason at all. They brought back Jingle My Balls for no reason at all. He pulls up in a motorcycle and he's got a couple dudes with him. And I thought they were speaking Spanish. I'm like, well, it's a new Spanish faction. That's something, isn't it? Oh no, that's Jinder Mahal. What the fuck? It's a great week for the subcontinent of India. Not only did Sanjay Gupta get to host Jeopardy all week, but now Jingle My Balls is back. So I mean,
man, they're just
partying like it's 1999.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy over there now.
Like they're down to 10,000 deaths a day. So I mean, I'm not even making light of that. It's just for the idiots here that won't get the stupid fucking shot.
God, don't get me started. So
that's Raw, and I'm watching Impact. And there's a lot of stupid shit on Impact. There's no question that there's really, really dumb shit on Impact.
Yeah.
But there was, I mean, as critical as I've been of Sami Callihan, and I hate Sami Callihan, he's terrible. He actually had a pretty good show. It wasn't a bad show. They used him sort of correctly. And then at the end, he got to beat down Kenny Omega, put him through a table.
Well, I think, and granted, I've only seen not much more than you have of Impact here. So I'm purely going on here and there stuff over the last month or so, but it seems like since you and I have watched Impact on a somewhat regular basis of any kind years ago, when he first came in, basically, right. I think they've toned him down a little bit. I don't think
he needs to be managed. That fucker needs to be managed. He's like,
but that's his gig. I get it, but it was kind of crossing that line in a way.
He's like a Labrador puppy. You just got to run him to death. You just got to run that energy out, and then you can use him. And you're like, throw an act. He really wasn't bad the way that they used him. Now I'm not going to say that I believe him as a contender to Kenny Omega. I don't believe that he's going to take Kenny. And I hate Don Callis too. And I thought Don Callis wasn't bad in this episode. I thought they used Don Callis. I thought he was okay. Again. Less is more. Pick your spot.
Less is more, yes.
Plus, they had that thing where they brought back Cardona against Brian Myers.
How'd you like that? I did like that.
That was okay. I'm like, okay, I'm in. I can see this. That's not bad.
Cardona was in our neck of the woods a couple of weeks ago at that AML show in Davie County. Yeah. I'm
not like a huge, but the history between those two guys and stuff, they work well together and they work well against each other. And I'm down. I'm like, that doesn't suck. That is an Impact angle that doesn't suck. They had, and I'll tell you another thing that I liked about Impact. That Violence by Design faction isn't bad. That Eric Young thing with him shaving his head and all that shit, they don't suck. They're like better than at least 80% of the factions in AEW. At least
better or worse than Sanity.
Oh, way better than Sanity. Sanity never. I didn't like Sanity that much at all. That was like forced down our throats, and it got over by just like sheer force.
Right.
They're like that was stupid. This seems like way better. So they got them all in some sort of stupid scrum at their pay-per-view at Slammiversary, and then they had individual performers from each of the factions in the ring at the end of the show, on Impact, and it was Carl Anderson, and I don't know, was Rich Swann in there? Maybe.
Yeah, he was in there with Willie Mack, right?
Yeah, it was Rich Swann, and then it was one of the guys, maybe that Diener guy.
Maybe. Oh, yeah. that Diener and that other guy with Diener. Yeah.
Yeah. And like one, and so Carl Anderson ends up winning, and then they go back and they have a stare down. And I got to tell you, it wasn't bad. I mean, the whole idea of them doing a scrum 4-way thing at Slammiversary looks really shitty, but it wasn't awful. And then Tenille, in her little thing, she beats down Jazz.
That was good. I like that little segment. I thought she was great, man.
And then Rachel and Jordan make the save. Rachel cuts a pretty good promo, and I'm like, this show, it doesn't suck as bad as I remember. Now there was shit in it that was not that great, but I think Rich Swann's a piece of garbage, and I don't like him at all. But honestly, when I'm looking at those two shows in comparison, I'm like, I don't know. Maybe I choose Impact over Raw. Honestly, that's how bad Raw has gotten. That Impact has kind of caught up with them. It was like a ridiculous contract signing, but they made something out of it. And Callahan put Omega through the table, and Don Callis was bitching up a storm. And D'Amore's out there. They went, "No, you can't." I mean, I thought that was all good. And then they exposed the ridiculous angle where Callahan supposedly assaulted Don Callis. That was actually pretty fucking. You could tell it was fake as fuck. But then they go back. Oh, we have the footage behind
the footage.
And they got it. I'm like, honestly, for one, and I don't know if it's going to be every week, Impact may have been better than Raw this past week. Honestly, honest to God.
It wasn't bad. And the thing about it, too, is, just what you kind of alluded to it earlier, that just the fact that it's 2 hours long already has an advantage for them for Impact alone. So that's, to me, off to a great start just by itself. So, yeah, and if you put just the content of what was on Raw versus what was on Impact this week, yeah, I'm totally with you, man.
And I'm not even getting to Deonna Purrazzo. I mean, you've been like really high on her, and I haven't been as high, but you're 100% right. She has such a great amount of charisma. She's pretty good.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe she just, I think it was there in ROH. I don't think ROH was like holding her back or anything like that. I think she's just grown. I think she's just gotten better.
I agree. I think that's 100% right. Now I'm looking. These are the things that didn't really work. The Morrissey and Jason Page against Manny Smith and Deontay Evans. Whatever. Don't care.
Okay. All right. Hold on. What do you think about Morrissey in general? Just take away the whole what he was up against kind of shit. Just him by himself.
I'm still. I need more information. I haven't seen him.
I'm with you.
But as of right now, I'm kind of like whatever at this point.
Okay.
I mean, that's how I feel about him right now.
Yeah. He was. I mean, he didn't. I didn't roll my eyes like, oh shit,
No, but it was also.
I've never really been as much against him as I have been Enzo in anyway. But
that's true. Susan and Kimberly versus Havoc and Rosemary. That match was kind of whatever.
Yeah, I didn't really see much of that actually. I don't know what I was doing, but
it was Rich Swann and Carl Anderson against TJP and Diener. Like TJP, I'm done with him. I don't care about seeing. If I never see TJP is in. I feel exactly the same way about TJP as we feel about like Gargano and Ciampa and now Adam Cole. I'm going to throw in there too on NXT.
Wow, Adam Cole's made the list.
I'm just saying they're not bad performers, but they've done everything they could possibly do in that promotion. There's nothing more they can do, and they're just treading water at this point. There's nothing more TJP can do in Impact Wrestling. There's nothing more he can achieve or accomplish. It's done. He needs to find greener pastures, or they got to figure out something else to do with him. Yeah, okay.
Hold that thought, because I want to ask you something about that later. Don't. I want to talk about it again.
All right, we'll put a pin in that one.
Put a pin in it, definitely.
And then Carl Anderson wins, and they have the breakdown at the end, and they have the contract signing. I'm telling you, I'm not advocating, but I think if you haven't watched Impact in a while and you go back to it, you go, it's not bad. It really isn't bad.
It's not laughable for sure.
No, it's not like
there for a while. It was back to being the laughable TNA when it first came on the air 20 years ago or whatever.
Oh Jesus! When they were doing those 6-minute Sami Callihan backstage shit, like a year or two ago. Oh my God! I wanted to just take cyanide. Honest to God, give me the pipe. Give me the pipe immediately.
And didn't they have Dick Boy back then too?
Yes, they did. They had Dick Boy back then. So it's like, I think it's much better now. What were you going to say about TJP? What did you want to put a pin in?
Oh no. Well, actually, it was more of an NXT thing.
Okay, so have you seen Great American Bash?
Great. Yeah. That was the NXT one, right?
Yeah, that was Tuesday.
Yeah, it was Tuesday. Okay, that's right. There's everything just runs together sometimes.
I'm with Jim Cornette on this. That it was basically 2 matches that were worth watching, and everything else. It was, I mean, obviously, Cameron and LA Knight to me are carrying the promotion right now. I think they're the best thing going.
God dang.
And then Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly are incapable of having a bad match.
Right.
Okay. They're just not. They're not capable. But they've set bars so high for themselves in the past. It's like, I don't know.
It's becoming Owens and Generico again.
Kinda. I mean, I'm sorry. I hate to say that because I think as performers, those guys can work as well as anybody. But it's like, I honestly feel Adam Cole, Ciampa, and Gargano, there's nothing more for them to do. They just can't figure out what else to do with these guys, and they just kind of keep swimming around the fishbowl.
That being said,
yes.
That being said, what did you think of Shotzi and Tegan being moved up to SmackDown or moved over, up, whatever they consider it?
Again, this is another Lucy's going to pull the football away from us. They gave them a hot start. They gave them, they put them over the way that they should be. And now guess what? In subsequent weeks, they're going to just disappear. I mean, this is how it works. Like, oh man, Tegan Knox comes back, makes a great debut at Great American Bash. She's on SmackDown on Friday. They come out with a big win. They pin the champs on SmackDown on Friday night. And now it's like, what should happen is they should be rocking and rolling. They should have like a really good match in them for Money in the Bank. But why do I feel like that's not going to happen?
I don't know, man. Why would you feel that way? You tell me.
Why do I feel that that's not going to be the case?
If there was just a track record, we could go on.
So yeah,
but I guess my point in all that is, I guess, are you surprised? Because I'm a little surprised that look, I like prefacing stuff just so it won't get lost in the sauce.
Okay.
So I love Shotzi. I love Shotzi Blackheart. I started getting into her about the same time she was signed by Triple H.
Okay.
And I forgot how I came across her. I don't know what rabbit hole I was down or saw her on, but I saw
on YouTube, something on the Indies or something.
Something on the Indies, something on YouTube, and I'm like, damn, she's pretty. I don't know if it was an MLW show, but something. I'm like, I like her, but because I kept seeing her name or something, and I'm like, okay, cool. And the next thing you know, she's moving up, and I'm like, damn, I must have just barely caught the train on this one, And I love her. I've been a fan. That being said, did she? I don't know. I hate to say deserve, because she deserves it just like anybody else, I guess. But are you surprised, I guess, basically, that she got it to move to SmackDown before other people did? Say somebody that's been in NXT forever, like Dakota Kai,
Candice LeRae or something like that.
Candice LeRae.
Nah, I think there's more money in Shotzi than there is in those guys. With all due respect, I think Candice LeRae is a great performer for what she is. Now, she's one of those that I don't see her ever making it to the main roster. I just don't. I don't think they're going to figure that out. I don't think Candice LeRae is ever going to be there. I really don't.
Okay. All right. Let me ask you this. And I know there might be a little bias here, and I get it. But what about Tegan Knox? Now, I love Tegan Knox just like I love Shotzi, but she has had her issues with those knees.
Mostly the injuries. To me, this is like the reason that this is so critical for her. I think this is her last shot. I think it's okay,
man.
We're gonna put her on the main roster. We're gonna do it. But if she goes down again, if she has another major injury, we're gonna have to wave goodbye. We're going to future endeavor her. So I think that's part of the desperation or the intensity or whatever. Now, from her point of view as a performer, if she feels that, I go, these again are ridiculous comparisons, which is why you come to watch us and listen to this podcast. Is like, if you go back,
word ridiculous pretty much says it all.
If you go back and you listen to the Bob Seger Live Bullet album, okay, essentially the record company said to him, "This is gonna be your last shot. This is it." So he books a week at his hometown, his theater at the Kobo, of course, where the Sheik used to run some amazing shows and throw fireballs at people and bleed and stick pencils in people's
Kobo, yes.
So Bob Seger, and that's why when you listen to that album and you hear it, it's the desperation of like his entire career. Everything is online. Everything that he wants to be, any control over his career, anything over, and which is really his life. Like, this is it. I've been doing this for a few years. It's stand and deliver time. It's either shit or get off the pot. And that's see, if she starts acting like that and starts performing like, I have to protect this knee, I have to be safe, that's when she could possibly get fucked up. When you have athletes that come out of their comfort zone and they're playing not to lose as opposed to playing to win, totally different things. So
agreed.
And that's part of what you and I know this. People who regularly watch that show, they don't know, but that's why you're rooting for her that much more. And that's why she's just a tremendous baby face right now. She's just like,
oh yeah,
baby face AF, because you want her to succeed. She's been through this. She's come back through the trials a couple of times, and now she's on the big stage, and now she really needs to deliver. And she's got all the good. She's got the look. She's got the work. She can promo pretty good. If she gets in a program, you'll know she's made it if she gets on a one-on-one program at any point later this year with Charlotte. If at some point they put her with Charlotte in something, you're like, okay, she's good. But I don't know if that's going to happen between now and Christmas. It could.
It could. You never, I mean, weirder things, I guess, have happened for sure. I guess another thing I'm a little surprised at, and I don't know, I guess I'm trying to think of somebody else they might have done this with. I think they did. I just can't remember, but somebody they brought up from NXT, like they did Shotzi and Tegan, and teamed them together for some weird reason. Because remember, it was Shotzi and Ember Moon were the tag team. And it's like, right. Tegan really wasn't with anybody. I mean, she just came back recently, so she was kind of by herself.
You talk about somebody they can't figure out what to do with. Ember Moon's bounced back and forth like more than one of Paul Heyman's checks.
That's a bouncing little thing right there.
Thank you very much. Thank you. They can't figure out what to do with her, and she's damn near legendary status at this point among NXT. She's one of the great women of NXT of all time.
Yeah, I would say she's so good, and well, she just got up to the main roster, and they fucked her up once, just like line them up and fuck them up.
It's those damn writers, right?
Well, it's either them or Vincent K. Retire already.
They were doing Jimmy Cornette's shit on Dynamite. They were Michael Naka got knocked out. Honest to God, he is so in their fucking heads right now. For those of you that do that rent-free in your head shit, Jim Cornette is so in the fucking heads of everybody at All Elite Wrestling. It's amazing. It stuns me how much those people, a guy with Tony Khan's money and resources, how he gives a shit about any of this. But he is, whoa. Jim Cornette is so fucking in their heads right now. It ain't even funny.
Oh, dude, all you have to do is go look at Omega's tweet.
Oh yeah, it's like,
says
why?
It all.
Why would you give that? Why would you give that man that much oxygen? Why would you tell him that what you're saying is bothering me? I don't understand that.
That was just talk about Pandora's box, dude. That was just like flat. That door just went boom.
Never would I let somebody like know that they were getting to me that much, and then it's like, all right, I guess we need to talk about Jimmy Uso.
Yeah. Well, questions. I got a couple questions, but go ahead.
Why was he on my television a lot?
That was my first question.
If I may. Why is James Uso on my television like a lot?
Not only was he on there, he was like one of the first people you see on there.
It's like, what is going on? I stand in line behind no one in my love for the Usos for years now. I've loved those guys as a tag team.
Absolutely.
As individual performers, they've been great. Who was it who said they should form a Samoan heel faction? Who was it who said that? Like 5 years ago. That's exactly right. But it's I mean, I don't, and again, he got off on those drunk driving charges 2 years ago. I don't know who his lawyer is. I don't know what kind of voodoo he's working with that. I have no idea. it's going to be really hard to get off.
Wouldn't have anything to do with who he is or anything, I guess.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I would think you could also make the argument that he would be more likely to be convicted based on who he is, you know, because down in Pensacola, they're like, I don't give a, because Pensacola is not really Florida. Pensacola is South Alabama. That's what that is. And they like,
was it Pensacola where this happened?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't know. Okay.
And where the last one happened. He's like, I don't know, if there's a lawyer in America that gets you off on blowing a 20.5, he belongs in some Hall of Fame. 20.5, 0.205, nearly 3 times the legal limit by any measure.
Any measure.
So in the past, I'll just go back in time. We'll compare to the Hall of Famer Rob Van Dam. Rob Van Dam gets busted with a joint, right? In his car. He's got 2 titles on him. He loses one on Monday. He loses one on Wednesday. That's what happens. They've always, and like,
thanks, Vince, for not letting them go at the same time. I appreciate that.
I don't understand. Well, I think one of them was like the World Championship, and the other one was like the ECW one. So he had to wait separate days to lose them. So it's always legit. Been like,
I got you.
If you do something in public, he's let me take care of him. I'll make him look bad on TV. Did he make Jimmy look bad on TV on Friday night?
No, not at all.
I don't think he did.
I don't think he did either.
Unless
that's just an opinion.
Unless Mr. Uso, unless Mr. Fatu was able to go to Vince and tell him an amazing story about why this isn't what it seems and how he's going to get off.
Life is so bad right now for him.
I don't know. I mean,
I don't know.
I saw the body worn camera footage. Everything seemed to be, I'm again, not a police expert. I'm police adjacent. I kind of see what they do, but everything looked pretty much in line with standard police procedures. I didn't see anything that was like, oh my God, that's going to get him off. I didn't see anything at all that was like that. And again, my predilection is to be in favor of Jimmy Uso. My predilection is to be, I'm not gonna stand up for anybody if they drink and drive and they're blowing a 0.205. I don't give a shit if it's my daddy or my brother or whoever it is. If you did that shit and you put people's life at risk, you deserve to have the book thrown at you. You certainly don't have to be on a network television show on Friday night walking on like everything's cool, like nothing's happened. That blows my mind.
I got a good story for you.
Okay.
When I was working at the country station here, the country station back in the day, and I had a side gig as a DJ at one of the country bars, I guess, like one of the 2-step places that were hot, I guess, at the time. That's
when the line dancing thing was just huge.
Man, right in the middle of that shit, no doubt. And my dad came out there one time. He wasn't a big country music person at all, but he came out there, and I don't know. I can't remember why he came out there. Now I'm trying to remember the reasons, but he came out there. I must have been, because I can't think of any other reason. Yeah, and there was some hot chicks out there. I'm not gonna lie. Some single hot chicks out there. And even though I really wasn't into the country music thing as much as everybody else was, I was into it just because that's where I worked and stuff. But
sure.
But after I got out of there, it was throw in the Rush or Led Zeppelin, something.
Oh yeah.
But anyway, there were some hot chicks out there. So I guess between that and me working there, I guess maybe that was the reason. But anyway, one night, the night he came out there, he left, and maybe an hour before we closed down and stuff. And I get a call right as I was leaving, and he's like, "Can you come get me out of jail?" What? Hello? I said, yeah. What's going on?
I didn't realize that our dads had so much in common.
Well, it probably sounds. It's. I guess it is bad, but
I think that's why my mom. I think that's why my mom wanted me to move so far away from my hometown, is so I would never be able in a position to bail my dad out from that. I think that was.
Well, luckily, I didn't have to bail him out, so that was a good thing. I guess. Those might not have been his exact words, but basically that's what I heard. But what happened was they stopped him for speeding, and then he wasn't weaving, but when they said they smelled alcohol, and he had drank, So he actually got off he got off, and I don't know what he blew. I'm trying to remember what he blew. I don't think he. I don't remember.
Was it close?
But he was able.
It was on the line.
It is probably on the line if it wasn't over. I'm not sure. But he told the officer, and it was a female officer. I remember that because she thought it was funny. She's like, yeah. She's almost like, you got me. Yeah, can't say anything. You got me. But he said, the reason I didn't try to slow down or anything is I didn't think you were a cop because one of your headlights were out. So he got her for not having one of their headlights burned out. He got off because
that's really smart because I think that actually would hold up. I think that would hold up in court. Honest to God, I think that would hold up in court.
That's how he got. He did that. In jail.
He actually went to court and he beat it like that.
Beat him like that's how it got out.
Amazing. Oh my God, that is fantastic.
Because I had to go with him. I don't know if I had to go or I wanted to go, but either way I went. And yeah, it was like so in and out, man. It was like I thought we were going to be there forever, and it's like she's like, no contest. He's right. My headlight was out.
That's amazing.
I know. I was thinking, how lucky are you?
Since we beat that one, we're heading to Golden Corral for lunch. It's all me. That is fantastic.
So yeah. So
my dad did not beat his. I heard what I heard. The story that I heard was he was at a gas station filling up. The woman smelled alcohol on him and called the cops on him, and he got stopped, and that's when he got his. He got popped for his.
Oh, so he got it from a rat then. Basically.
Yeah, he got somebody snitched on him.
Somebody snitched.
When my niece got hers, I think maybe one of her ex-boyfriends who had become a cop. I think he was involved with that. No, maybe that was another thing.
That's a little sus.
No, he nailed her for like underage possession. He gave her a citation for underage possession. This guy was a complete pussy. He tried to be a state trooper. It's really hard to be a state trooper around here. He was one of those guys that washed out that first weekend. He had like one day and he's like, oh, tap out. I'm out. God done. I know.
Dude.
Jeez.
What's so funny is, obviously most of those guys are like former military. Most of them former Marines even.
Some of them are, yeah.
A lot of them are, it seems like. But yeah, he couldn't deal with highway patrols school or whatever. God.
But the Brevard Police Department welcomed him with open arms. Did you have the thing in your town where there was like the one officer that just harassed the kids who just got their licenses?
Like the dude on Happy Days that did it to Fonzie all the time.
Yeah, that guy. We had a guy named Marty Burns.
So.
Marty Burns.
There might have been, but I didn't know about him if there was one.
Our guy was Marty Burns, and Marty Burns was a guy who he gave me my first ticket, and it was actually in the parking lot as school was letting out. Like everybody in school passed by my car and saw me fucking get a ticket at 3:02.
What the hell?
Well, I was coming back from somewhere. I was working with the newspaper staff, and we went over to the middle school distributing our newspaper. So I'm coming back, and he gets me on Gallimore Road for like doing 54 and a 35.
Oh, so he follows you to school?
Yeah, yeah. And then in the parking lot, as everybody's going out, and getting my ticket. It's great.
I got you. I was thinking you were leaving school. I wasn't thinking about you coming to school.
No, I was coming back, and I was coming back in time for dismissal, and then he fucking gives me a ticket.
God, man.
The hundreds of children that I go to school with are getting out of school. That may have been my most embarrassing moment in high school, right there.
I can understand that. I guess the only thing that would have been worse if you had a wreck out in front of your school.
Exactly. I saw a girl get hit like T-boned. We were right behind her. I saw her get T-boned like right by school one time.
Yeah.
100 years ago.
Oh yeah, man. It seems like it always happens.
So if the cop that pulled Jimmy Uso over had a headlight out, he should probably go with that route, is what you're suggesting.
That's what I'm saying. You never know.
I can't, because like to me, all right, the second time you get busted for drunk driving, even if the first one you beat the charge, it's a blaring neon light that you have a drinking problem, right? You have a substance abuse issue. You are not someone who can have one drink and stop. That's what I'm
correct. You're not wrong.
As such, let's not put him on TV so much on Friday night. Let's not do that.
Just if nothing else, a precaution.
It's just a thing. It's just one of those things. That was bizarre to me. That whole thing was very, very bizarre to me. But they're building up. SmackDown is such a much better show than Raw is. Now, we do need to talk about All Elite Wrestling's Dynamite programming. What is your understanding of a 7 Labors of Hercules match
I'm not really up on my mythology, so I can't really, it's like asking about Dante's levels of hell or whatever. I don't know. I don't know.
It was an interesting episode. First of all, the first match on the card, which was Cody Rhodes and QT Marshall in a South Beach strap match.
Is that what it was? I guess. I was a little disappointed they started off with that shit, but whatever.
If the point of this thing is to elevate QT Marshall, big fail. Big, massive, unbelievable, crazy ass fail, right? Am I right about this?
Oh, dude, they're not done yet, but yeah.
They're
not done with him.
The factory faction is really, 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 really not good. Really very stupid and very bad. They're bad. And they're
the faction factory. That's what AEW is, the faction factory.
The faction factory. First of all, whoever is in control of Van Halen's intellectual property, those shirts are too much, and they should get a cease and desist order immediately. I'm sorry, but that should go away immediately.
I'm with you.
This has been the rare rivalry where it's minimized Cody and QT. It's like it's taking them both down a peg.
It seems like it, doesn't it? I don't know. It's like, I don't know. Do you think they came in and kind of hot-shotted Cody too fast with some shit, and now they're kind of like, what do we do now?
I don't know what's going on. I think Cody was red hot when they started the promotion.
Yeah.
2019, they started the promotion. Last year, he gets progressively cooler, progressively less hot.
Now, is this on purpose, do you think?
No, I just think it's because they don't know what they're doing. And then you hear all of these rumors and stuff about how like the VPs, the 75 VPs are not getting along with each other, and they're not
the
really
EVPs.
Yeah, the EVPs, they're not really communicating with each other and stuff.
Right.
And that feels like, that kind of plays into this whole thing about like he's not able to call many shots, and he's not able to kind of get his shit over, and now he's got the new baby, and that's kind of his focus now. He's like, fuck it. I can beat my head against the wall over here with the shit ass Bucks and Kenny Omega, or I can just go home and play with the kid, which is like way more satisfying and much cooler.
Right.
I don't know. Argue. His heart doesn't seem to be in it right now. And I'm not saying that as a criticism. You can't really blame him.
Right. And I can't tell, and you make some good points there. I can't tell if it's maybe him saying, okay, I'm going to step back a little bit and because I came in, like I said a second ago, came in and kind of hot-shotted things and was on fire, and now I'm going to let the Bucks and Omega do their thing, and I'm going to kind of step back out of the spotlight and maybe try to give a boost or an elevation to QT Marshall. And
how'd that work out?
Yeah, it's not turning out too well, I don't think.
Let's look around the roster and see who I can elevate. Oh yeah, this is the guy. This is gonna be our guy.
Well, there's a lot of buddy, pal, chum thing going on there too, obviously. Yeah, I mean, it's obvious. Yeah, obviously. I know I'm Mr. Obvious.
You think that's why Shawn Spears still has a job? You think that's got something to do with it?
I didn't know he was all tight with everybody like that, but
he's the guy.
Maybe he is now.
Everybody likes him, and he's in the locker room, and he shows up for work. I mean, Shawn Spears is a walking participation trophy at this point. That's what he is.
And I want it's not like I don't like the dude. I don't get it really.
He's not bad. He's just not good. That's the definition of Shawn Spears.
It's like they want to give him a gimmick, but how about letting him hone his skills a little bit first or something, instead of trying to.
He's the chairman, and then he's like it's like there's nothing there. There's no there. And I can't tell you. And Cody is just kind of drifting. I think he's got the possibility. And then the other thing about Cody is that fucking neck tattoo as a baby face. Like, I'm sorry.
As any face, man. Oh.
Like if you go like I can imagine like Ricky Steamboat in 1983 showing up to Crockett and he's got like a couple of teardrops like tattooed on his fucking face. Ricky, I don't think that's gonna work. I'm sorry. I just don't see that as being good for you or anything.
There goes the posters.
I just don't. I'm sorry, and maybe that's old school of me, and maybe tattoos are just whatever. But as a baby face with that thing on there, and you're like, I don't know, dude. I'm just not. I don't see that working for you.
But I understand, man. It's like I get tattoos. I don't have one. It's not like I wouldn't get one. I just I'm so, I don't know, picky about stuff. It's like I've waited so long. It's like, what would I get as my first tattoo? I wanted something. If I want to get something, I want something special, and I just can't think of anything. So why would I get anything? But I'm not against it.
I'm not either.
I think there is a point where you're just like, all right, that's a little much.
But I would go. I've always like, if I get the Pearl Jam tattoo, the very next day they go, Eddie Vedder is the Bill Cosby of rock and roll. I've always felt like that was going to happen. Like the very next day.
Not even mentioning that shit.
I get a fucking
ask Undertaker about that shit.
Yeah, and it hurts to get them taken off. Like way worse. Like I bet
it wouldn't hurt at all on your neck.
I get like a 6-inch Pearl Jam tattoo on my back and shit. And the next day, Eddie Vedder has drugged 600 women over the years and raped them. Oh, great, fantastic! I don't need this shit. I can't do it.
I didn't even think about all that. See, you're taking it a step further, man. I didn't even think about that, but that's a very good point. Yes.
I'm sorry. I just don't permanently like, and even my family name, I know like my other niece got the family name tattooed on her and she's like, I'm proud of my family name. It's like, do I have to have it tattooed on me to be proud of it? Can I just do something with it? Or would that be, why don't
you just tattoo white on you?
Yeah, exactly.
White.
This is a true story. My aunt, my cousin got his last name tattooed across his back, which is Chapman. They got it tattooed right across, biggest, like 7 inches, like across shoulder blade to shoulder blade, right?
Right.
And showed it to his mom. She goes, "That's good, son. Now the cops will know who they're chasing when they're going after you." She fucking literally said that to him. And it's not even kidding on the square because that's actually possible. I mean, with him,
you're right.
It's like possible.
That's hilarious.
Tony Schiavone brings out Don Callis and Kenny Omega for a chat. They immediately kick him out of there, which is great. I do love the idea. Again, like did the Four Horsemen ever go, "You Bob Caudle, get out of here. We're taking over the microphone." No, they never did that.
They probably did actually, but I don't remember you.
Although, Ray Stevens and Greg Valentine did beat the shit out of David Crockett, so point taken.
But that was over a tape, right?
Exactly. No, it was because David Crockett was getting involved in shit he didn't need to get involved in.
Right. Can't be showing that tape.
I'm going to send it to Bob Geigel, and you're going to have your shit stripped up. No, you're not. Beat your ass. Stop on the tape. The problem solved. The Dark Order comes out, and they say, "Hey, I keep saying that you, Kenny Omega, don't have anybody else to fight, but this Hangman Page guy. First of all, isn't Hangman Page like perfectly capable of speaking up for himself? And why does he need?
Thank you.
Why does he need the masked fat guys to come out and talk on his behalf? I'm sorry. Why does that need to happen? Hey, props to the entire crowd. First time they're back in a crowd, they're chanting Hangman Page and cowboy shit loud as fuck. So you can't say the Hangman's not over. He's over. Which is, again, why do we need, these fuckers, the Super Smash Brothers, stepping up talking for you? That blows my mind.
Yeah, I think that whole Dark Order Hangman Page thing is just awkward, just all together. And I think that was awkward. Exactly. I thought the same thing, man. I'm like, what? It almost threw a monkey wrench in that whole pop for Hangman, didn't you think?
I think it did, because it's like he doesn't need to be a comedy guy, and I don't understand. I mean, and people could say though, like, okay, when Mick Foley was doing his comedy shit with The Rock, did that take away from any of The Rock's badassedness? Okay, fair enough, but it was a very different time. These 8 idiots who they keep giving paychecks to, including Colt Cabana, It's like, oh, we have to figure out something for them to do. Hey, why don't they stick up for Hangman Page?
Well, the thing about The Rock and Cactus Jack was The Rock had kind of established himself by then. He had already kind of,
Mick was in the point of his career where it's like, I can't do falls from 8-story buildings anymore. I'm going to have to be the guy that uses the sock and does wacky shit. That's what I'm going to have to be.
It's on to the next chapter. Yeah.
Jim Ross sitting down with Ethan Page and Darby Allin. I don't get Darby Allin at all. I don't get Darby Allin at all. I don't have any feelings for him. I don't get what makes him a star. I don't know why he holds that title. I don't think using Sting to get him over has helped get him over. The little sit down that they had with Jim Ross was as good as anything I've seen him do per se, because they kind of established a personal issue with, oh, it took this fucker all this time in the Indies to get up where I am. And he's like, yeah, dickhead, you just rode the elevator to the top by kissing ass. So that made sense to me. There's a personal issue there.
I'm glad they did do something to, make that feud a little more believable, I guess.
But otherwise, I don't know. Am I being too hard on Darby? Am I not seeing what everybody else sees? Because I don't see it.
I don't think you are, and I think and I'm the same way. I think a lot of it has to do with the gender, not gender, the age gap. The
maybe
I think there's a generational thing there with you and I and him. I'm guessing. I thought he was interesting at first because I didn't know what to make of him. When AEW first started off, he took Cody to the limit, and I'm like, damn, they're pushing this kid big time. And
I can't quite figure out why, because he seems to me there's like 20 other guys that kind of do what he does.
Thank you, and I'm gonna tell you something. This might sound controversial. Somebody, I know some people are probably going to go, "Oh, you're just being stupid, you Mark," but I think there's a lot of similarities between him and fucking Orange Cassidy.
Yeah, I can actually see that. Although, I would say Orange. I kind of see something with that guy now. I kind of see a little bit with that guy.
He's come around on me too. I admit that.
Because the way he works and the way he's presented and stuff, it kind of gets, it's kind of old. Like the gimmick is, oh, this guy's not going to do anything. He's put his hands in his pocket. Then he does all kind of shits, and then there's only like 50 times you can do that before it's like, okay, what else you got?
What same else? With Darby, I think they kind of painted themselves in a corner with him a little bit. How much can you do the coffin drop before it's like, okay, ho hum.
Yeah, I'm with you. The skateboarding crazy, Matt Riddle-esque guy who just does crazy shit. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm with you, but I think more. I hate to admit that I'm the old man sometimes, but I really do think a lot of it is just the fact that it's a generational thing with you and I.
Hey, if he's getting over with the younger demographics, then so be it.
He is. He's hotter than shit. But I'm with you. I don't really get the gimmick, but there's a few other ones I don't get.
FTR and Wardlow against Jake Hager, Santana, and Ortiz. Wardlow's another guy who felt like he was hot for a minute, but he doesn't seem as hot right now.
He doesn't really have a personality, man. He's just kind of there.
And then they come out and they take out Conan's knee or something like that. That all was weird.
Yeah.
It's time for the Showdown contract signing. MJF and Chris Jericho, with Jericho saying he would even have sex with MJF's mother in order to get a title shot. Wow. This is good stuff. And we come up with the Labors of Hercules match for no particular reason.
Who came up with that?
It sounds like Tony Khan all the way to me. That feels like Tony Khan fucking being obsessed with some shit that he saw in school or something.
Did he like go back and watch like Clash of the Titans from 1981 or some shit?
Got me, Chief. Featuring the great Harry Hamlin, right?
Yes.
Britt Baker with a promo. Then it's Matt Sydal against Andre Iguodala, who still is not over. Still is not. Arn Anderson in the ring. He's happy to be back in Miami earlier today.
Oh, lights go out.
Yeah, we did have a lot of lights going out, didn't we? Well, it's their first show back. There's going to be some power issues.
That's right. You never know. Hurricanes and shit down in Miami. Orange
Cassidy and Chris Statlander against Bunny and Blade. Yawn.
Wait a minute. You did you skip over something? With when the lights go out with Arn.
Arn Anderson's back. The lights go out. This time it's the former Aleister Black. He's now Malachi Black. He hits Black Mass on Anderson. Is that what you get to do to get over this promotion? You get like hit something on a 60-year-old man or something?
That's must be a thing.
Earlier today, Ricky Starks came to the ring with security, but Taz comes out to. Oh, by the way, that is funny as shit. We've got a Fortune 500 company. We're doing big deals and getting $1 billion from Peacock, but we can't figure out the difference between a 90-day non-compete and a 30-day. We just can't. We can't make that. I don't know. It's a thing. This is a 3. This is a 9. They're different numbers. This number bigger than this number, you dumb fucks. What does that sound like? Wasn't there like a clerical error in WCW that kept the Iron Sheik on the payroll for like another year because they forgot to renew or something like that? Forgot to cancel the contract?
Yeah. Bobby Bonilla still rules that whole thing though, but yeah.
Please tell me John Laurinaitis or somebody is getting heat for this. I bet John Laurinaitis is like, oh, this is another thing that Carano should have taken care of. Holy shit. Please tell me Johnny Laurinaitis is getting heat for fucking that up. That's what
I'd have done. I'd have blamed it on him too.
Yeah, I thought he was gonna send him his shit in a bag and then cancel the contract. I didn't know. Gee, boss.
He just did the bag part.
Earlier today, Ricky Starks came to the ring with security, but Taz came out to say this is nonsense. Starks says Brian Cage is the embarrassing one. Brian Cage, another guy, seemed hot a minute ago, but now not so much.
Yeah, well, he kind of got lost in the sauce too with that whole faction and Taz's faction and shit.
Earlier today,
they could make Brian Cage into such a. Remember when he was dude was borderline. He scared me on.
Oh yeah, he was a monster.
Lucha Underground.
How is Brian Cage versus Wardlow not on like every pay-per-view? How are they not building to that?
And just make him a badass. Make him an Otis. Make him the old.
I don't care if that match lasts 5 minutes. Fucking Wardlow against goddamn Brian Cage would be amazing.
God dang.
That's stupid.
I know.
Jungle Boy got a nice trophy for being the first AEW wrestler to 50 wins. Ooh.
Okay.
America top
What's
team.
next? 75. Who? 75 wins.
75.
Why not? I don't know. 50 wins. Good for him, though.
This was another weird one. Dan Lambert, America Top Team's huge wrestling fan, awesome belt collection, was glad to come to the show, but he didn't agree to an interview. Tag team titles, Penta El Zero Miedo versus Eddie Kingston versus the Young Bucks. They are going to shove this tag team match, this matchup of Penta and Eddie Kingston down our throats forever and ever 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 and ever. They're never going to stop with this. And it's like the same match as last week, isn't it? They just beat the shit out of each other, bleed a lot, right?
Seems like it. Yeah. I like Kingston and I like Penta.
I love him.
But I don't know. It just didn't. It just didn't work for me. I'm sorry.
This time,
it was okay.
Thumbtack, they rate this match on 411 Media as a B. The other match has got like C ratings. So that tells you exactly what's going on with AEW wrestling, the savior of all wrestling. A couple of questions from the Peanut Gallery at Katie Vick Alive. Our friend Rich Fan says, how many non-WWE events do you think Steph has paid not company to go to after that article? There's an article in Variety talking about how we've learned so much from the Thunderdome and from being out. We're going to have better stuff. Let me read the exact quote. In the Thunderdome, we were able to experiment with different types of technology, and we needed to over-deliver for our partners and fans, but now we have the ability to apply all of those learnings to the live event experience with our fans. So from a production and storytelling standpoint, it will look and feel different. Okay. What this woman wants you to believe is that they're cutting everything they possibly can. Every piece of fat from the roster is being cut, but they're going to spend way more money on live events. Way more. And that's gonna. It's like.
In what capacity, may I ask?
It's like, so I'm Joe Public. I'm going to spend. Let's be reasonable here. I'm going to spend $30 for a ticket for me, $30 for my kid, with taxes, fees, everything else. It's $80. I'm going to pay $20 for parking, and I'm going to pay another $40 for for food and then maybe some souvenirs, we're talking easily 150, 160 bucks, right? Easily. Yeah. So it's like, I don't really know who I'm going to see, but fuck, the laser show is going to be amazing. Is that really what you think is going to happen, Steph?
That's what it sounds like. I mean, I'm assuming that's what. I mean, what else? That's what I'm asking. What are you going to spend it on? What's it going toward?
What sort of laser light show pyromania thing that makes you think I'm going to dig in my wallet for 160 or 200 bucks to take my 12-year-old to this fucking show?
If I want to see a laser light show, I'm going to go up here to the Winston-Salem fucking planetarium or whatever it is and watch the damn Pink Floyd.
The Pink Floyd thing, yeah. That's what you're going to do. And you're going to pay like a third of the money for that shit.
Right.
I don't understand how it's like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know any of these guys. I don't really care about any of these guys, but production values. Hang on. Let me grab the MasterCard. Get out of my face with that shit.
Man. I've actually, they've been sending me invitations ever since I was on the Thunderdome that one time 2 weeks ago. And I'll always sign up for it just in case I get the urge to do it. And I've come close a couple times, but it's like, I can't do it for Raw. I was like, I can't sit there for fucking 3 hours solid on Raw, Plus, they never send me one for SmackDown.
Didn't they make you sit around and watch main event before that and shit?
Oh yeah. I've gotten invitations where you can't come on until 8:30 for whatever reason. It's like 7:00 or 8:30. And I don't know what they do. I guess they plan on people cutting out or whatever, and you just take their place or something.
They absolutely plan on people cutting out because nobody.
I hope. But yeah, that first one was like they showed main event or whatever it's called between 7 and 8. But I hung through it just to get the feel of it. But for 4 hours that time. But I just couldn't. I came close this past Monday because I didn't really have anything to do, and I'm like, should I do it? I'm like, I just don't fucking feel like sitting around for 3 hours, dude.
Belkish from France tweets, who is the next guy picked by WWE to be the top guy role? Reigns has got at least 3-4 years left. It's purely speculative. All right, since we're speculating, I'm going to say the next main guy, the guy is going to be LA Knight. I'm going to say Vince gets him to the main roster. He's good looking enough. His body's good enough. He's big enough. They're going to push that guy like a son of a bitch. That's going to be my guess.
God, that would be awesome. I would love that. I would effing love that. But I don't think it'll happen. I think he's going to stick with the big guys, man. I think he's going to stick with the big body dudes like a Lashley and Drew and
Damian Priest,
Jeez. Riddle. I think
then okay, Omos is your next guy. Almost is going to be your guy. Edward James Almost. AJ Styles, big buddy.
Yeah, no, that's like having the Giant.
I told you the Ron Fuller story about Andre. Like,
yeah.
Hey boss, I come to your territory. I stay here. It's like, I don't know how that works. Like, I have to put the strap on you, and like, who's supposed to beat you?
Yeah.
People are not going to go pay money to be like, hey, I wonder if Archie Golding can beat Andre this week.
Yeah. Well, that's not even the Giant I was talking about. I was talking about like Giant Gonzalez.
Oh yeah, that's true.
You wouldn't, he's huge, but you're not going to base it on him. But who knows? Vince might just do it for almost just, dude's big.
Any other closing thoughts on this week's episode? Another award-winning episode of Katie Vickers.
It's award-winning already. Wow.
Oh, I'll tell you, we hand each other awards at the end of the year, and I always give you best co-host. You always give me best host, and that's how it works.
Well, we give it a lot of deep thought every year before we give those awards out.
Sure.
No, I think we covered everything. I was going to mention that about the NXT call-ups, and that was really the only thing I had.
That was a pretty meaty episode. We're going to do a lot of stuff from the different wrestling promotions. I thought that was pretty good.
That was. But boy, you got to sit through a lot of wrestling in a week's time.
There was a lot of wrestling to watch for sure.
And we didn't even see it all.
No,
we didn't see MLW. We didn't get to see Filthy Tom Lawler.
The great filthy Tom Lawler. Oh, my latest thing is I think Timothy Thatcher's overrated. I'm going to say it. I'll be that guy. I think Timothy Thatcher's overrated.
I actually think he might have brought Ciampa down a notch or two.
I'm going to say it. I know among indie marks, I just lost all of my credibility, but I think Timothy Thatcher's a little bit overrated. He doesn't do a whole lot for me at all.
Yeah. And another thing about filthy Tom Lawler, I figured out he is like I won't say a badass. How about a batter ass Johnny Gargano?
Yeah, fair enough. That's fair. Bryant is followable on social media, Instagram, and also on Twitter at Bry Sports. He is followable on TikTok, Stanley Jackson 23. The show is followable on the Twitter machine at Katie Vick Alive, as we mentioned previously. I am at Britt Whitmire, BrittWhitmire on Twitter, and it's BDub for Reels on Instagram, BDUB number 4 REELZ. And if you want to support what we can do, you can shop at our Amazon store. That is very easy to do. That is katievick.com. katievick.com. Until next time, fans, we'll see you ringside.